"We need fresh blood," she said. Not whispered, not private. She said it standing at the head of the conference table in front of 30 employees, her voice sharp, rehearsed. My wife's sister, the CEO, looked at me with satisfaction as security hovered near the door. "You're finished here," she added. 15 years of building this company. 15 years of working nights, missing holidays, sacrificing everything. I said nothing. Not a word, not a protest, just a nod. I watched the smirk spread across her face as if she'd crushed me, as if she'd ended me. She didn't see the truth in my silence. She didn't see the thought flickering beneath my stillness. Because I knew something she didn't, something she'd never even bothered to read. Her father's signature. Buried inside the contract. The clause. The room clapped politely, as if a new era had begun. I picked up my pen, slid it into my jacket, and walked out. No resistance, no scene, just the weight of betrayal pressed into my chest, sharp, metallic. That night I sat in the dark, staring at my phone, waiting. And when it rang the next morning, when their lawyer's voice cracked through the receiver, I allowed myself the smallest smile. Panic was always the first stage. The lawyer stammered, breathless, as if the words cut his throat on the way out. There's been a mistake." I didn't answer. I let the silence drag him further down. "Your contract, it stipulates equity, 20%, transfer of all shares upon forced termination." A pause. The sound of papers rustling, frantic, desperate. "This means you now own controlling interest." My chest tightened, not with triumph, with something colder, something closer to grief. Because betrayal always comes dressed as family. And here it was again, through my wife, through her sister, through the people I had trusted to hold my life in their hands. I thought of the years spent grinding for a legacy, only to be discarded like trash. I thought of my wife's silence at the dinner table, how she never defended me, how she looked away when her sister's contempt cut too deep. Maybe she knew, maybe they all did. I hung up without speaking, no gloating, no threats, just silence. It was the only language they never understood. I went to work as if nothing had happened. Not the office, they had locked me out. No, my own work, my own strategy. First, I checked the accounts, the dividends, the shares, all mine now, paper proof of their arrogance. Next, I pulled every file I had ever stored, emails, contracts, messages she thought vanished into the ether. Patterns began to emerge, threads of deceit woven into boardroom decisions, bribes, personal accounts, whispered schemes where my name was always the punchline. I kept my face calm at home. My wife asked nothing. She saw nothing. She never looked past her phone screen. I cooked dinner in silence, sat across from her as if nothing had shifted. Inside, though, a storm built, measured, calculated. Every move I made was another nail in their coffin. I didn't rush. I didn't confront. I let the truth sharpen itself in the dark, like a blade waiting for the right moment. Voice trembled. "They're asking if you'd consider a settlement to avoid exposure." Exposure. So that was the fear. I told him to arrange a meeting. When I walked into that boardroom, their faces dropped. The sister who had fired me paled first, then turned red, then pale again. My wife sat beside her, pretending she wasn't part of this, but her eyes betrayed her. Cold, guilty, restless. I slid the contract across the table. No words. The signatures glared back at them. Their father's handwriting. My ownership sealed in ink. Her mouth opened, closed, then opened again. "You can't." "I already have." That was all I said. Nothing more. Her voice cracked. My wife shifted uncomfortably, the weight of silent complicity pressing against her. For the first time, they looked small, fragile. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. I won't take your offer, I said calmly. The company is mine now. You'll stay, you'll work, but you'll answer to me. The silence that followed was worth more than any fortune. My wife's eyes widened, searching my face for mercy. I gave her none. You planned this for years, I continued, steady, precise. You tried to erase me. Instead, you've written yourselves into chains. Her sister leaned back, breathing heavily, the weight of her own arrogance suffocating her. I stood, collected my papers, and walked out. Not a word wasted. That night I didn't celebrate. I sat alone in the kitchen, listening to the hum of the refrigerator. The victory was hollow, but necessary. Betrayal never heals. It only clarifies. I looked at my wife when she finally walked in, her face pale, her mouth trembling with excuses she couldn't form. I didn't care to hear them. I wasn't the same man who had built their empire. I was something sharper. Colder. They wanted fresh blood. They got mine. And it changed everything.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.